Hey, toy family, welcome to the Marsham Toy Hour, where we discuss anything and everything designer toys. I'm Gary Ham.
I'm George Gaspar.
And I'm Ben Goretsky.
Welcome back, Ben.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Well, hey guys, it's the week after Thanksgiving, and we are actually in the Christmas season.
Yes, we
are.
Yeah,
it's official. It's
official.
Christmas.
Now stores can lay out all their Christmas stuff because they've been waiting and nobody's done that yet.
Exactly. Also, what it means is you can go ahead and unbutton that top button on your pants, throw on some sweatpants, because we are going to be eating lots of goodies this month.
I'm not even wearing any pants. So what's up, folks?
Not much. How you been? How was DesignerCon?
What's that? Remember?
It's this little convention that popped up in Pasadena over the past several years.
Oh, DesignerCon.
Yeah, there's been lots of excitement and talk about it through the social media sites and whatnot.
DesignerCon was amazing.
Wait. Before you get into it,
yeah,
let's start this whole DesignerCon talk off by squashing the rumor. DesignerCon is not moving out of Pasadena next year.
God damn it, Spanky. I swear that post of his, I don't know how many people had were walking around thinking that the show was moving to Fresno.
Now, was that a joke post on his part, or was he just trying to instigate something?
That was his April Fool's joke.
A bit early, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, he did it on April Fool's.
Okay.
He posted April 1st. Thanks for doing your April Fool's joke on our behalf, John. And he posted that the show is going to be moving to Fresno as of 2017. And, of course, I got a slew of emails and text messages and phone calls and any way to contact me saying, like, you can't move the show to Fresno? That's a horrible idea. What are you thinking? And I'm like, why does everybody think the show's moving to Fresno? And then I found out.
That's pretty funny, actually.
And somehow it must have started surfacing on Sunday, because Sunday I had people coming up and asking me, is the show moving? Is the show really leaving Pasadena? Like, I can't believe it's leaving. And then the next day, on Monday, I had people texting me and Instagram messaging me, like,
oh my God,
is the show really leaving Pasadena? So no, let's start that. Let's squash the rumor now.
Yes.
It's not going anywhere. It's in Pasadena.
Idea.
Well, let's just go ahead and let all the listeners know now that John Pranky Stokes is not to be trusted. Like,
right.
You're gonna fall. You're gonna click on a video clip on Facebook, and you're gonna be watching this thing repeat. You're gonna just literally right now. Don't believe anything he says. Like the other day, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, he was talking about what is the best brand of fudgesicles. And you know what? I don't know if he's just fucking with me or if he's really saying that's the best brands of fudgesicles.
You can't believe the guy. You just can't believe the guy, because you're going to go out and buy those fudgesicles, and they're going to taste like shit.
Exactly.
And he'll be like, dude, I was totally kidding.
So fuck
he is
you,
the king
John.
of those funny videos, though.
He is. He's like, wait for it.
Wait for it, yeah.
Wait for it. And then...
Really, the only reason for Facebook for me at this point is just to see memes and funny videos. I cancel out political stuff. I cancel out the attention getters, the depressed posts. It's strictly just go there for funny videos and memes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's talk about ZCon. DesignerCon 2016.
Not yet. Let's go ahead and do leaks and sneak peeks first, and then we'll jump into some DesignerCon talk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyone that's new to the show, welcome. Leaks and Sneak Peeks is a segment of the show where we like to tell you all about something that we saw on social media this week, and we just want to let you know about. Ben or George, either one of you guys want to go first?
Go for it, George.
Oh, geez. I'm not ready with the sneak peek. I am terrible at this.
All right, I'll go first.
All right, do that, because I'm going to go look for the thing I'm going to talk about right now.
You go, and I will go too.
See, people, this is how prepared we are on the Marsham Toy Hour. Well, actually, literally, I was just scrolling just before we hit record, and I saw that Martin Shu, or Hasu, however you want to pronounce it, Martin, last name spelled H-S-U.
I think it's just Sue.
Sue?
Martin Sue.
Martin Sue?
Yeah,
okay.
Martin Sue.
Well, it looks like he's going to be having his Dragon Boy and dog produced in vinyl form come 2017. Thanks to, it looks like maybe Rotobox helped with the design of the figure, and PowerCore and VTSS Toys are going to help produce it.
Awesome.
It looks pretty cool. I think that's, in the past, it's always been resin, right, guys? I believe so.
I think so. Yeah. Small runs of resin. So
yeah,
this will definitely, producing it in vinyl hopefully will lower the price and make it more accessible to people.
Yeah, it's completely new shapes from his resin form too. I really dig the new proportions and the shaping of the vinyl figure. If you want to check it out, just check out his Instagram. He shared some blanks of it. Looks great. And then on top of Martin Sue's piece, I have another one that was a bit of a surprise to me because I'm not a shoe guy or a Star Wars guy, but I thought this was really cool. But Bill McMullen, a.k.a. Billions McMillions.
I know what you're going to say. I saw it, and it was amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, he showed at DesignerCon a prototype of his Superstar Destroyer that is being produced by Monkey King. This thing is freaking rad looking. It is probably the best example of the meshing of two brands I can probably think of. So for those...
Now in regards to that, I talked to Bill about that.
Yeah.
And I said, we got to do something with that thing for next year's DesignerCon.
Oh, totally.
And we're going to try to crash a 10 or 15 foot version of it into Pasadena.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Crash it into one of the walls or something like that.
That'd
do
be
something
cool.
fun like that.
Yeah. So for anyone who can't imagine what this is, just imagine the Star Wars Imperial Destroyer ship combined with the Adidas Superstar shoe.
Where do you see the picture of it? Where do I get to see it?
Check out Bill's Instagram at Billions.
Okay.
It really is the best meshing. And it's weird because neither one of those worlds really do it for me. I'm not a shoe collector. I'm not a Star Wars collector. But this thing is rad.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, I have mine ready if you guys want, if Ben needs more time.
Yeah, have at it.
I've got mine, but you go first, George. Go for it.
Okay. Mine is going to be, it's a piece I actually purchased at DesignerCon. But I think that there's probably still some left because I got number 3 of 10. So I don't know if they were going in order or not, but I bought the Fungoid Man by Skinner and Wonder Goblin. And it's not something I normally would buy. It's very out of my price range. But I was feeling like I just couldn't pass this thing up. It's made, you can get it at wondergoblin.com. And it says all Fungoid men made entirely by hand at the Wonder Goblin workshop. And if you don't know what this is, it's that evil mushroom drawn originally by Skinner and then translated into sculpt by Wonder Goblin.
It's amazing. When they announced it through their exclusives that they sent to us at the show, I was like, I don't know how much this thing costs, and I usually don't buy Skinner products, but I, just like you, George, I was like, this thing's incredible, and I have to get one. And I did. I did purchase one.
George, did you come down with a bit of a DCon cold?
You know what? I did beforehand. I actually, right before DesignerCon was Ben's birthday, and both Ben and his son were sick. And I went to dinner with them, and I got sick as well.
Anytime you hang around kids during the winter season, you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
That's just a given.
Unfortunately.
So I was unfortunately sick during DesignerCon, and I'm
good.
kind of getting over it now.
I'm glad you gave it to everybody there.
I certainly did.
Oh, yeah, you and Coles both sound like you went there with colds.
Oh, yeah. For sure, I was getting people sick. I guarantee it.
Oh, my God.
You guys are patient zeros for sure. All right, Ben, what do you got? What'd you bring to the table?
All right. Now, is it bad that if everything that I choose is 3D retro?
No, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So for my sneak peek, I want to talk about a product that was at DesignerCon, and it is a product that one of the sculptors that George works with sculpted. And this was an artist that I found through Instagram and multiple blogs. Her name is Rena, so I wish I could pronounce her last name. But I think it's Rena, maybe? I don't know. But she makes these, if you Google Nike Mag girl, and being a huge Back to the Future fan, when I saw this image, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I need to get a print of this. What she does is she takes, usually it's Nike shoes, and she draws these sexy looking women wearing outfits that are inspired by the shoe design. And last year she released her Nike Mag girl, which looks amazing. And I actually messaged her last year and I said, can I please buy this from you? And she said, I'm sorry, I just don't sell my pieces. I don't make prints. I don't sell my originals. I just do this for fun. And this year, when the Nike Mag self-lacing shoe came out again, her image popped up again. I messaged her again, and I actually saw like, oh, great. I've already asked this artist like if I could buy this piece of art. But I got to talking with her, and I actually convinced her to do DesignerCon and to actually, for the first time ever, sell her prints. And at the same time, I said, DCon's all about how it's about art, but it's also how to convert that two-dimensional art into 3D. And so with George's help, we created her Nike Mag girl as a bust. We got enough time to sculpt it, mold it, cast it, and paint it. And it looks incredible and amazing. So, and we debuted it at DCon. It's, just as a kind of a sneak peek as to what's coming. So that's my, I cannot wait for it to be produced toy.
Very cool. Is that on your Instagram at all?
It's actually not. It's not on my Instagram. But
is that shocking, George?
No, come on, really? Ben has something that he wants to promote and it's not out there anywhere?
Hey, Ben, I tried searching Nike Mag Girl and nothing's coming up.
Nothing?
No.
Okay,
no,
well,
it doesn't at all.
Here, I'm going to just give you her Instagram. Her Instagram it starts with an underscore, and then it's Viva, V-I-V-A, La Reina, and that's like VIVALAREINA. And if you go there, she's got lots of images of her art, and she's got images and video of the bust at DesignerCon.
Very cool. Sounds
Rena Koyano. Rena Koyano.
She is Japanese, but she lives in Los Angeles now. And her stuff's been featured on like Hypebeast and all kinds of blogs out there that are specially centric around, the shoe culture and, the clothing culture and things like that. So she's been featured before, and I'm just glad to be working with her on this stuff.
Well, between you and I, this has become this shoe-centric Marsham Toy Hour.
Yeah, very much so. Look how urban we are.
I know. Maybe 2017 is the year of the shoe.
You heard it here first, folks. It's the year of the shoe.
Year of the Shoe, brought to you by StrangeCatToys.com. So for all of your designer toy needs, head on over to Strange Cat Toys and be sure to use checkout code MARSHAM at checkout to receive 10% off your order. All right, Ben, so I have a couple DesignerCon ideas for you for next year.
Nope.
Yep.
All right, what you got?
All right, here we go. So at the Oscars, they have seat fillers for when people have to use the restroom, right? So I have known a few vendors at DesignerCon that go out by themselves. They don't have a spouse with them, and they need to use the restroom. And they've told me they held it for 8 to 10 hours. And I want to tell everyone, it's not good to hold it. You can get like some serious bacterial infections. That's not good.
My.
So can DesignerCon maybe get some volunteer booth fillers to help people out?
Nope.
Okay.
I can't.
How hard is it to bring a friend? Seriously.
It's not easy. Because most people have friends working a booth somewhere else.
It's a liability. It's if we get any of our volunteers to take over the booth, and And the person comes back and says, this wasn't broken when I left, or this was, this piece was here when I left. Where did it go? It's like, well, I didn't sell anything. Well, what do you mean you didn't sell anything? It was there. I was there. It was there 10 minutes ago. What happened to it? It's a liability that we're not going to take.
Okay. Well, okay. How
Just
about
bring your friend.
Bring a friend. Wait until one of your friends shows up to the show. Ask
your
a
booth
fan.
neighbor. Ask your booth neighbor to watch.
Ask a
you?
booth
You
neighbor.
could ask a
Perfect.
booth neighbor.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, ask a booth neighbor.
I want to offer this out to the listeners. Chris Buchong of the Vinyl Pulse, he will watch your booth for you. So go ahead and follow him and send him a text while you're out there.
There you go. Hire Chris.
Sorry,
Charge
sorry,
you-
Chris.
You should charge like an hourly service or something.
Yeah. Well, here's another suggestion then.
Okay. Here we go.
At the beginning of all football games, all the football players come running out of the tunnel and they burst through a big giant paper logo. So you got all these people waiting in line for the event. Why not make the people first in line be able to break through something?
How long did you think about these suggestions?
Oh my
They
gosh.
just come to me, George.
These are terrible.
I'm witty.
I'm just going to start to ignore these unless
Okay.
you become serious.
Okay, I understand the paper thing's not very cool. How about this?
I
How
can
about-
just see, like, I'm just picturing lawsuit after lawsuit about people like, you had us run through a piece of paper, we tripped and fell, and
The guy neck behind him
Smashed.
tramples him.
yeah,
then
and then all
you're
the
not going to like my
behind-
next suggestion. My next
God.
suggestion,
Here we go.
you have to enter a bouncy castle and exit out a giant inflatable slide that enters you into the Designer Con Hall.
How many conventions have you run or been to? Let's just go with been to. How many conventions have you been to, Gary?
I've been to New York Comic Con. I've been to Wizard World, which I don't even think is around anymore. I've been to many, many San Diego Comic Cons.
And how many of these conventions do this stuff?
I wish there was something that was like that. Well, okay, San Diego this year, they had like a big free fall thing. You can climb up 4 stories and free fall into a thing below. Sure, you had to sign a lease or something like that. But are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
So yeah, why not? Why not a cool slide to enter people in? It's so boring. You should get something for your 2, 4, 6 hours of standing in line, don't you think?
Gary, you obviously weren't at DesignerCon because there is nothing boring about it. It was
Okay.
3 giant rooms filled with amazing things to do. You could have entered from any one of numerous entrances and exits, and it was a good time all around.
I agree.
Thank you. Your
Maybe
check
if you
is
would
in the
leave
mail.
Arizona, get out of the desert and get over here, you'd have
Yeah.
had a fun time.
Did you even come to DesignerCon, Gary?
I did not. I'm afraid to go to Designer
Why
Con.
am I doing this show? Why am I here?
For me,
What?
you know what? Designer Con to me and just conventions in general, I find navigating conventions like navigating a minefield.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many different personalities in the toy scene. When you're walking the halls, you run into the quiet, mellow guy who brings you down. Then you run into the guy that you know you can cuss with. Then you run into the quiet girl that is kind of meek. And do I give him a handshake? Do I give him a hug? Do I... then you walk by the booth, the person at the booth is staring at you with those sad puppy dog eyes, like, please, please come look at my stuff. I can't. I put my head down and I keep walking. Walking convention halls to me is not very fun.
You do understand you are the press. You are supposed
Oh,
to be at
please,
these events.
no, I am not the press.
capturing these moments, talking to these people, taking pictures. Plus, DesignerCon is unlike any other convention that you have ever gone to.
Sell it, Ben. Sell it.
I do. I try. Oh man.
Okay, I'm going to give you some accolades because I got to say, I don't think any other convention, even San Diego, New York, I don't think any convention has been more hyped up and looked forward to as DesignerCon. It seems like really everyone is on board with this convention.
Well, thank you. We send as it gets nearer to the time of the show, we send almost like weekly emails to the vendors, and I got to tell you, like we told our vendors, like, hey, flex that social media muscle and go out there and tell people about the show, and our vendors are amazing. I gotta hand it to our vendors. I really do. I mean this. It's like these guys went out there and on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they went nuts. They did such an amazing job in one, promoting themselves, of course, but two, promoting the show and pushing people to come to the show. It was really incredible. We would literally 2 weeks out from the show, we would see at least 100 posts a day on every social network between Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram 2 weeks before the show.
That's incredible.
It is. It's fantastic. Our vendors are amazing.
I'm already looking forward to next year. I have big plans.
Big plans. I like it.
Can I say to that, though, is I don't want too many people to fall for the hype and excitement. It's still a convention in the fact that you had to bring something good to the table to generate sales. Don't expect to go there and it's going to be the biggest, greatest event ever and you're going to make tons of money. You
Agreed.
still got to work hard.
You still got to work hard. That's what I'm saying.
Stuff.
I've heard from several people that went and they were disappointed by the sales. And I'm like, well, did you bring something good? Did you, you can't show up with $200 plus items. You still have to consider just the typical
low ticket item.
Ticket item. Keep things $40, even $20 and under, even better. Pins, stickers, plush, stuff like that. You got to think of all markets. And I think a lot of people still show up with $150 plus customs, and that's just not what sells at conventions.
Right. Or there's the vendor that just brings the stuff that they had for the past 3 years and it's the same thing.
Yep.
And 3 years ago or 2 years ago or whatever, when they first did the show, it sold like crazy. And then they bring it again and like the next year and it sold pretty well. It's like, yeah, we did good, really well at the show. And then they bring it for the third year and they're like, our sales are just not that great. And, it's like they even tell me, something's wrong. Like people aren't just buying as much anymore. It's like, maybe it's because you're bringing in too many vendors, or maybe because you open up that other hall. It's like, well, once again, like you said, Gary, like, did you bring anything new this year to the show? Like, well, no, we're just bringing the same stuff we always brought.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work for this audience. This audience is all about like what's new and like what new did you make. It's like even if they bought something from you last year, they want you to bring something new to the table this year. They want to support you, but they're not going to buy the exact same figure again. So it's like it's hard work. Vendors need to understand that they do need to bring something for the audience to be
excited about
it and happy to buy.
Could you say again for me, Ben?
Again?
Yeah.
What about again?
You were channeling a bit of Christopher Walken just then, before.
Oh yeah, I sometimes do that. You got to bring your toys to the show.
There you go. Something else I want to know, Ben, is were there still people on the short list for this year?
Over 500.
Okay. Were there any vendors this year when you're walking around that bought multiple booths that you kind of frowned upon? That you're like, man, you did not need 2 booths. We could have gotten in another vendor.
George.
No, not really.
George.
No, there was no.
Marsham Toys.
No. The only thing that irks me when I walk around and if I see an empty booth.
How often does that happen?
It happens every year. Every year. Now, this year we had 3 empty booths, and I was able to fill 2 of them before the doors even opened on Saturday. Then the third one, they didn't show up. They didn't even tell us that they weren't going to show up. They just didn't show up. And it was a 10 by 20 booth.
Wow.
So I went around and I went to one of the vendors that had been like on the short list, had wanted a bigger booth. And basically, I hate empty spaces. So that's why we even say like, you can get your money back up until November 1st. Because then afterwards, I just have to fill the space. And a lot of the time I could get money for the booth or sometimes I don't. And in this case, I didn't. All I did was I moved one vendor over to that space. I asked the vendor right next to them to expand into their space, and it all worked out. But that really bothers me. I hate walking around a show and seeing an empty booth and, being like, oh, shoot, why didn't they even tell me that they weren't going to show up? What happened?
Like you have to know before the day of show that you're not going to go. Like, unless an emergency happens, that could happen too.
It definitely could. And the other two that didn't show up literally gave me a day. And I was, because I have such a long waiting list, I was able to fill it pretty easily. But still, like when the doors open up on Saturday and then it's noon or 1 o'clock and then I'm finally walking by that booth and I'm like, oh my God, this booth is completely empty. That bothers me the most.
Yeah, it also is bad because then like by then you've had to have the books printed, like people's names are going to be wrong. Like it just sucks when it's like, if you know ahead of time, just let the convention know you're not going to be there.
The book printing, so we have to submit the book printing at least 2 weeks in advance. At least. We must have had at least 10 booth changes in those 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So forget about the booklet being like 3 or 4. I'm talking about like literally there was like at least 10 booth changes in those 2 weeks. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's all part of just running a show, I guess.
Yeah. How would you rate the event overall, 1 to 10?
Oh, it's always a 10.
I know. That's such a stupid question. Why even throw that out there? It's going to be an 11 every time, right?
An 11. It goes up to 11. That's right.
Can I ask you a question? What role do your sponsors actually play? Like Power Core and D-Corner and the other sponsors?
It really depends. Each sponsor plays a different role. For instance, this year we had Paul Frank was a very big sponsor for us. They helped us in terms of they did the coin design this year for the official DCon coin.
I didn't even see the coin.
Yeah.
I missed the coin. Did you save me one?
I think there might be a couple left over.
Oh, I hope so. I missed the coin. How the heck did I miss that?
Yeah, so he designed the coin. They also helped by designing these stickers that went on the floor and which guided people from the halls into the new Hall C. And they were all over the floor. They helped us with certain banners. More so was Crew West Studios. Crew West Studios this year helped us print a lot of the banners, a lot of the signage to, help people with where the after party was. They helped us put the panels together for the VIPs. So every sponsor has something that they do to help the show out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really knew if they were just a financial backer or did they have a role to play. But yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
You could always be a sponsor by being financial backer. That's always helpful too.
That's
absolutely. Absolutely. We hope to get more of those next year.
Well, I will be winning Powerball tonight, so next year we will be a sponsor.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mentioned my social awkwardness at these conventions. Do either of you guys experience anything like that? Or is it just me?
George?
All conventions, all conventions are full of like awkwardness. Like it's kind of, it's not the most outgoing people that become introverted artists. Like a lot of artists are naturally inclined to not be around other people. That's kind of why they're so good at drawing and doing solitary things.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes to promoting at a booth, there's a lot of people who are more inclined to sit there with their head down or more inclined to not want to talk, or they're the other way where they're maybe a little bit Aspergy and they want to just talk, but they don't even understand the social cues of like, I'm not ready to talk to this person. So, I mean, that definitely happens all the time, but that's conventions. You have to kind of deal with that.
Oh my God, nothing worse than talking to the person who really doesn't want to talk to you. You can tell because you're looking at them and they have ADD. They're like looking over your shoulder. They're not paying attention to you at all. There's that person. Then you got the person.
I do that a lot. And a lot of the time I'm not ignoring you. I'm listening to you, but I'm trying to watch the booth at the same time so that things don't walk away. That's the biggest thing.
That I get, but there's definitely other people that you can tell do not want to be talking to you.
Yeah, for sure.
But then there's other people, like when you run into Dove. Dove is very low key. You just gotta just go. You might go from an 8 down to just turn it down to a 4. Just take it down a notch, and then you meet someone else like Beast Brothers or someone else that's kind of high energy. Then you're all of a sudden you're high energy, or you'll run into someone like Sucklord. The next thing you know, curse words are flying like crazy. Like everyone's a different personality, so you just kind of as you walk the floor, you're like wearing many hats. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I feel.
No, I like that though. And that's the fun of going to these things is to be around all these different kinds of people. Mm-hmm. I mean, in my day, I'm not normally around more than one person. So
now, are you guys going for the handshake or the fist bump, or you just go right into a hug?
Oh, it depends on who it is.
Yeah, it depends on who it is.
Exactly. How do you?
Because you just.
How do you know? Do you wait for them to make the move? Usually, if it's a female, I know it's gonna be like a hug, like Xing. I know she's gonna come running 10 feet away in for a big, fast, embracing hug. But then you got other people you just don't know. You don't.
I think you just think about this way too much, Gary.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, here's the thing. This is a podcast, and you have to inject a little bit of comedy into it. I might not believe what I'm saying, but it's for the purpose of laughter.
That's the problem. Is you believe all of what you're saying, and I bet you dwell upon these things all night.
You do. You probably think when a person comes up to me, do I hug them? Do I give them? A handshake? What do I do?
I break it down. I have a 10-page list of artists. I'm like, handshake, don't look them in the eye. I can cuss with this person. Don't mention dogs to this person. Yeah, it's a whole list. I worry about all of this stuff.
I kind of wish that we, as a society, we can move away from the handshake because, like I said, I was a little bit under the weather, so I don't want to get other people sick. But also, most of the time, you're going to probably getting sick from somebody else's coughed in hand the whole time, and then they're going to shake your hand, and it's I'd rather, let's just go to fist bump is okay, but then you got knuckles touching knuckles, and they're probably sweaty and gross.
What about let's just do
head nods. Let's just do head nods.
Head nods, agreed.
You want to get shit bow? That's what you're doing. You're doing the shit bow.
Let's do
it's
this.
Awful. Do a real bow.
What about a knee bump?
No.
That's too intimate. No, it's too close to private areas. Let's just give a head nod.
Too freaking weird. Just way too
a head nod for
weird.
the people that are just acquaintances. Elbow bump to people that you're a little more personable with.
This is why handshakes will never go away. This is why, right here, because the alternatives are just too crazy. Bows. The Japanese got it right.
They did, but don't they have that thing that if one person bows too much, that's showing respect for someone?
That's why you don't give a shit bow. You just give a normal bow.
Doesn't it become like a limbo game where you think, no, you deserve more respect than you're giving me, then you bow lower, then they bow lower, and it just goes back and forth? No?
Or what? Do you want to hug it out for 5 minutes?
This is a weird converssion, guys. What's the next topic?
What are we talking
There's
about?
no topic. We're free balling. We're just free one this thing.
Free balling? What? No, that's a whole different
free balling. I don't know about you guys, but I'm free balling.
So Gary, I don't know. We could talk about this real quick. We brought some postcards from Marsham postcards to the show to hand out, and we had we had a pin for sale.
Oh, really?
And I got to meet quite a few fans of people who were listening to the show, and it was awesome. There's people out there, just like you suspected. There are people listening to the show.
What you're telling me is there actually are listeners out there.
Yes, they are out there.
They
are hearing
right now.
That's awesome. After our little Gripe Fest last episode, I think we did hear from quite a few more people this time, and I think that's great. It's not griping. It's just we like to know that there is an audience out there, and just let us know you're out there every once in a while.
Gary feels alone is what's going on.
Oh, that's awful.
I do. I put in a lot of time, and I just want to know, do we just wrap this up in 40 episodes, or do you want more? You got to let me know, because it's a lot of work, and every once in a while I become a little needy, especially come Mondays when release day, and yeah, give us a like, give us a share. That's all.
Well, I'll say, Gary, next time you should come out to the show because you'll be able to meet with the fans who are listening and they can tell you in person, like they told me, they like the show. A couple of them got the pins. So people are listening.
That's good.
Oh, very nice.
I'm more
That's
excited
awesome.
to meet the people that are excited about it, but just like my social anxiety kicks in, I'm afraid to meet the people that thought we did them wrong as well.
Well, maybe for the new people who might be listening this week for the first time, we should talk about some toys, or what do we do on this show?
Toys. So
Toys.
What's going on with this pin? Are we going to be selling this thing?
That's up to you. I'm about to send you a box
Okay.
on Friday.
Well, stay tuned, people. I haven't seen them yet. If they're decent, we will get them up for sale.
If they're decent. Well, I mean, other people bought them. What are you going to do about the people that already
Do people
bought
buy them, George, or are you giving
Like,
them
I'm
away?
sorry.
Okay.
A little of both. I gave one to Aaron's cousin.
Dominic.
I think he got one, and then a couple people bought them, and I gave them to a couple of the previous guests on the show.
Good. You're a good marketeer. Well done, George.
Well done.
So, Ben, you mentioned there's several halls at DCon. How do you think like Hall B and C did?
Well, the new hall was Hall C.
Okay.
So the other halls, they were fine. People are already used to the other halls. Hall C, I think what was happening is, just like the first year that we added on the additional hall A and B, it just, some people didn't even go in there. They didn't know. It hit them, as a surprise. So the same thing happened this year with Hall C, but, excuse me.
Are we boring
We
you?
kept No. It's been a long day. We kept promoting Hall C, and I think what it was is a lot of people saved Hall C either for day 2, or a lot of people just took their time getting to Hall C because they would start in the ballroom, they'd go through the ballroom, and then they go through the exhibit hall A, then they go through exhibit hall B, and then they would make it into exhibit hall C. All I know is that I would go into exhibit hall C, see how things are going in there. And honestly, I would say both days after about 12:30, the hall was pretty packed. So I think in terms of attendance and in terms of crowd, the new hall did very well.
Okay.
Did very well. And speaking to the vendors that were in there, of course, there's always the vendors that are like, well, we feel we could have done better in the other hall, or we didn't sell as much. But a majority of the vendors in there were like, yeah, we're doing great. We're doing awesome. Paul Frank had constantly a line at his booth. I mean, granted, he's Paul Frank. Tara McPherson, on her first day in that hall, she sold out of her poster, like her exclusive posters. Camilla D'Erico sold out of a lot of the exclusives on her first day as well, too. So, we had the director of Bob's Burgers in there, and he was selling a ton of stuff. Mark Dean Vecca was in there, and he was doing original drawings for people and selling them really well.
I'm gonna stop you. You don't want to go down the list of names.
I
'cause
don't.
you'll forget one person, and then everyone else will get mad. So I'm gonna stop you before you get too far.
Good. I think it was good. Yeah.
So here's my takeaway. If you're an established artist, you did some great promoting. It really doesn't matter where in the convention hall you are. People are going to find you regardless. If you're probably lesser known, and this is maybe one of your first times attending DesignerCon, it really doesn't matter where in the convention hall you are. It's going to take a while for your fan base to develop. Everyone goes there with money in hand, but they already know where they're going to spend it elsewhere. So if you're new, it's going to be really hard to take that money away from all the other vendors. And this kind of goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show, where a lot of people are super excited about it, and everyone's kind of seeing that on the social feeds. But you have to realize, this is coming from a lot of very established artists with very large fan bases. And, you just can't go in there and expect to be them right off the bat. It's going to take time, and you just got to work at it and make sure that you're making your stuff as visible as possible and make your stuff affordable.
It wasn't hard to find someone. It definitely, it's not that big. It's not Comic-Con where you can walk around and lose someone. Like it's a small enough show. It's a large show, but it's a small enough show where It's still intimate. You could still find everyone you need to find. You definitely, it's better to have both days if you can. It's not something you can just stroll through in like an hour anymore, like back in the old days. It's you need a solid day of looking around, and if you can, the full 2 days. Ben, how is attendance in comparison to previous years? Do you know, like, I don't know, you might not have the numbers yet because it's still early, but do you know if attendance was up or down from, like, say, last year or the year before?
We don't know exact numbers, but it looks like on Saturday attendance was up about 10 to 15%, and Sunday we either hit the same amount or maybe slightly higher. The problem was on Sunday it started raining. And it started coming down really bad. We feel that a lot of the people that were going to come later in the day on Sunday just did the typical LA thing. It's raining. We're not going to go anywhere. So I believe we lost a certain percentage of people to the rain. But that being said, the halls were still very crowded on Sunday. All the halls.
Yeah, and I know that the rain in LA always keeps people away, so that's definitely. I mean, that was a big factor for sure. But you know what? Even I was talking to Dr. A this week, and he's up in the front of the ballroom, in the like right near the entrance to the ballroom entrance.
Yeah,
and he was saying he was seeing people coming in at 3:00 on Sunday who were just getting there, and they were like, "Yeah, we just decided to swing in and check it out," and it was like, so there were still people coming, all day. And it's like, I don't know what they were thinking, because you're not going to see anything. But
so the box office for the Pasadena closed their box office at 4:00 on Sunday because the show closes at 5. We have our people at registration that check in pre-bought tickets, and at 4:00, because the box office was closed, people were coming in and saying, like, we want to get into the show, we'd like to buy a ticket. And we were like, okay, I guess we'll sell you a ticket because the box office was closed. We had like a crowd at 4:00, and then at 4:30, we're just like, forget it. You're not going to get to see enough. So at 4:30, we just started letting everybody in at no charge. Because it's
for the last half hour.
Very, very gracious of you.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. How about you tell that to the people that paid $10 to get in? So it's like, but at 30 minutes, what are you going to do? The people that have all those exclusives that you want, most likely they've sold out.
I would think so.
And how much attention can you give to over 425 vendors in 30 minutes?
None.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you want to go visit George, then you can go.
Dude, my tables were empty. I had 2 empty tables by 4:00.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
You're a baller, George.
It was collection showdown this time, and it was like I started with overflowing tables, 10 tubs of goodies, and by the end it was done. I had people on Saturday afternoon. I had my friend bringing me 3 more tubs of stuff, just of his stuff he wanted to get rid of.
Awesome. So awesome.
Big question of the hour. George, how many pins did you bring home?
At least 12 that I can remember that I have on my lanyard. I got myself an art enamel pin. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Yeah, I got me one of those too.
You guys are suckers.
Yeah, we are.
So was there a pin literally at every booth? How many booths would you say had a pin?
Not every booth.
If there were 425 vendors, I would say 385 of them had pins. And I would say out of those 385 that had at least a pin, I would say 260 of them had more than 5.
Wow. Holy crap.
Oh, shit.
Those are not scientific numbers, by the way.
They're not accurate. I think they're a little bit exaggerated.
Well, so, Ben, you guys had a pin scavenger hunt.
We did. Yeah.
How successful was that? Because I know at the end you got like a designer con pin, correct?
Yeah. So the pin scavenger hunt we planned for months ago. And we were like, yeah, we're going to do a scavenger hunt. And this is like when pins were just starting to get crazy. And we had no idea that so many vendors were going to be making their own pins. Because we're like, well, pins are cool. We should help vendors make pins, so we're gonna like, bring in the pin makers, and we're gonna get designs. And it's like, needless to say, all these artists were like, oh yeah, we're making like 4 pins already, and we're making 3 other pins with these guys already, and it's like, oh my god. So the scavenger hunt wasn't as successful as I would have liked it to be, because I think of the large selection of pins out there.
Okay.
And I think what happened was the artists that were involved in the scavenger hunt, a lot of them sold the pins just as is, and like people were like, oh cool, another pin. They didn't even put 2 and 2 together. That one is part of the scavenger hunt, because there's so many other pins. And I think maybe we had, I want to say maybe like 20 some people complete the scavenger hunt.
That's pretty decent though. Like it's pretty
all
good.
right. Yeah, it's definitely not horrible, but we planned for, or we got ready for 100 people. So 100 people could have gone and done the scavenger hunt, and we would have had enough for 100 people to do it.
Well, Gary, just so you know, not only were there so many pins that it bogged down the scavenger hunt, there was a pin that was identical almost to the scavenger hunt pin that you get for completing it that you could have just bought from another booth.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's how many. There were so many pins. There were double pins.
Yeah. We even had a pin for the after party. That was
So is everyone just walking around with about like a 10-pound lanyard around their neck?
No.
No, I didn't see too much of that.
No, they were carrying around a 10-pound bag of pins.
The nice part about it was it's good for pin trading, where if you have a pin that you like and you have a friend who has a pin as well, you can trade your pin with them.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a thing, pin trading?
Yeah.
I did it. I participated in it a few times over the weekend.
Okay, cool.
I will tell you, and the pins that were made, all the pins that I saw were really cool designs. I gotta admit, like,
I'm going to give a shout out to Joe Ledbetter, though, because I think he took pins to the next level.
What did he do?
He had some with like, movable wings and whatnot.
yeah.
So there's some functionality to his pins, and I think that's cool because he had something a little more special that maybe other pin producers didn't have.
But I don't know if you knew, he even had those last year.
Yeah, true.
So he's ahead of the game.
He's a trendsetter. Next year, people are going to be doing stuff like that. If they're not making pennants, because I really do think that pennants, we're going to start seeing that trend filtering into our scene a little bit.
I think you should bring it up. Ben, I was in Ben's office on Tuesday, and he has one hanging in his wall.
There you go, Ben. Let's get Ragnar to make a DCon pennant. I'll buy 10 of them right now.
All right, done.
It's got to be Ragnar, though. I love everything he's designed for DesignerCon.
That our show is the only show that he does now.
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's so awesome to see his
Yeah,
stuff.
because I saw at his booth, he posted on Facebook, and I saw a toy that was sitting on his booth that it somehow escaped me, the Astro Boy that he did for the credit card company. I don't recall seeing that in the past, and I love that design, so I'm going to have to be ordering that through. Speaking of 3D Retro, head on over to 3dretro.com, one of the sponsors of the Marsham Toy Hour. Also, they have a brick-and-mortar shop over in Glendale, California.
Yeah, we have a sign now.
That thing is awesome. It looks good.
Thank you. Only took 3 years.
I gotta say, I wasn't a big fan of the one you had previous years because I felt it wasn't instantly readable. And I think this new one's much more. You can just instantly read it. I think it's really cool. And that was designed by Brant Peters, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, our mascot and all of our logos have been designed by Brant Peters.
Okay.
Very cool stuff.
Speaking of which, 3D Retro is now, it transforms into Mark Hamill's, den for his show.
The Pop Culture Quest.
On the Comic-Con HQ channel.
That is correct.
Tell us more about that.
So season 1 has already been filmed. So don't expect to walk into the store and see like a lazy boy and carpet and Mark Hamill's hat and microphone laying around. They've already finished filming all of season 1, and now you can start to watch it on Comic-Con HQ. But we closed down the store and we converted the store into Mark Hamill's Collector's Den, which is supposed to be like, call it a man cave, call it a man lounge, call it a collector's lounge. It's just supposed to be the place where Mark Hamill goes, and he has his collection around him of comic books and toys, and his buddy, who is, by the way, a puppet, his buddy is there, and they discuss all things pop culture and things that Mark likes to collect. So that's pretty much the show right there. And they visit some amazing collectors. And at the same time, while they were filming, they had a lot of these guys come by the store because some of the interviews are done inside his den. So it was really cool meeting some of these people. I'm not going to give away who's going to be on the show the rest of the season, but it's some pretty big names, and it's pretty impressive who they got and what they show on the show.
Yeah, I've only seen the trailers, but it's definitely something I would love. I love Toy Hunter. I loved all of those type of pop culture shows, so it's definitely something I'm into. I need to find out if DirecTV carries Comic-Con headquarters, or I guess right now there's a free trial. So I think if people are interested,
yeah, I think it's something that you sign up online. You view it online.
View it online.
I don't know
okay.
if DirecTV. Yeah, the cool part is that while you're watching the show, you'll notice that, of course, the shelving and everything, it's all 3D retro, our ladders back there and everything. But we also snuck in almost every single production toy that 3D retro has ever made into the entire season of the show. So, of course, all of Nathan Hamill's pieces are in there. Brandy Milne pieces.
Don't start naming everyone. You're going to forget someone.
I know. There's too many to name, but every single piece that has been created by 3D Retro is somewhere in the store while they're filming. It may not be in every single episode, but there may be a shot of them at the counter playing, looking up stuff on Pop's computer, and you'll see a Sir bust in the background, or you'll see a Nathan Oda bird, and then maybe next week you'll see the Mouseketeer army, or Brandy Milne's Sugar Lamb Go. So things to look for that clearly symbolize that this is still the 3D Retro store, and we still have all of our products there for you to see.
Now, did you have the marketing savvy enough to produce maybe a commercial or something letting people know that you're the place to go to for all those goods?
No, I wasn't allowed to do that.
Oh, that bummer.
But George and I did sneak in one evening.
Hey, leave me out of this.
And
accomplice.
There are pictures of us. I actually think that my profile photo, or my cover, has us sitting in Mark Hamill's chair.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. We snuck in one night and we
Hey,
played.
leave me out of this.
George did it all. I was just watching him do everything.
I just picture George hanging by some sort of wire from the roof, just like Mission Impossible style.
Just watching them film quietly. Nice.
All right. While everyone has that beautiful image in their minds, let's take a brief moment to say that the Marsham Toy Hour is sponsored by Prints on Wood. Head on over to printsonwood.com to purchase limited edition prints by some of your favorite artists, or they can also print your artwork or photographs on their beautiful sustainable wood. It's the holiday season, so head on over to printsonwood.com to get a unique gift. Let's talk about the after parties that went on at DesignerCon. Any good stories to share there? I heard DesignerCon really late into the after party. You guys actually paid for an open bar. Is that true?
Yeah. So the after parties were done at the Rose, which is a venue right across the street from the convention center. Literally.
Wait a minute. I think he's talking about the first after party.
Which after party?
Because the first one, you did an open bar. You did an
okay.
open bar on Friday night.
We did an open bar on Saturday night too.
Wait, no, I was told those Coors bottles were $12 a piece.
Which is why Gary said that later on in the evening.
You know what? Okay, I found it out from Urban Vinyl Daily interview on Sunday, because I remember you saying it was family day with strollers and whatnot, and you said,
yeah,
one regret is you wish you would have left the party earlier and there was an open bar. So yeah, that was Saturday night.
Yeah. Saturday night, George, which you probably don't know. I don't know what time you left. But Saturday night, so the party went until like 11:30. At 10 o'clock, while DJ ZTrip was spinning, we went up to him and we said, just announce this. And he says, oh, shit, everybody, you're going to flip out. Open bar. And that was it. And we just did open bar for the last hour and a half.
Oh, my God, dude.
So drinks were free. And yes, people got blitzed, which is why we only did it for an hour and a half.
Ben, right now, this is not one of those scenarios like Vegas where everything that happens at DCon stays at DCon. You need to share with our listeners some amazing story that happened because of that.
Some amazing story that happened because of the drinking?
Yes. I know what happens. I've heard stories of people going to San Diego, getting blitzed, and I don't know, crying and diving into pools and cracking their head open. I've heard crazy stories. Share a crazy story with us.
I'm trying to think.
This was literally like 3 or 4 days ago. Think hard.
So here's the problem. Like, because I'm one of the guys that's putting on the event, like I don't even see everything that's going on. And most of the time I'm not even on the floor. I'm like in the back dealing with things from, making sure that things don't blow up. So I wouldn't know. All I know, here's the thing. All I know is DJ ZTrip was awesome. He was amazing. Like, his set was incredible. Everybody loved it. I mean, he mixed like everything that we love into the music. Like, it started with like Star Wars and went into, Super Mario and just anything and everything from what we grew up with and what we consider the best in pop culture. He threw into his mix. And I know that at one point he was like, I don't want to leave. I'm going to stay here with you guys, and I'm going to sign autographs, and I'm going to talk to you guys. So I'm pretty sure that by like 11:30, when everything was ending, and the best part is he was the one that provided posters to these people. So it's like, for autographs, all you had to do was grab one of the hundreds of posters they laid out for that had his name and image on it, and you can go up to him, talk to him, and get him to sign it. So that was like incredible, and I'm pretty sure there must have been some crazy conversations because of all the drunk people, but it was still a really good time. It was great. And
it's not. I'm sorry, Ben. That's just not good enough. That's good, but it's not good enough. I need more.
Don't know. I mean, we're not a crazy bunch. What can I say?
No, sure. Tell me that Flat Bonnie was streaking, or tell me something. Tell me something completely unexpected. All right, everyone, that was a joke. Don't take it seriously. Flat Bonnie did not streak. But tell me something completely unexpected.
Here's a little bit of dirt.
Yes, George.
Here's a little bit of dirt. I know for a fact that at least one DCon after party pin was stolen from the table.
What the hell?
God. George, did you steal a pin?
I stole one.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. We were wondering where that pin went. You took it.
I didn't know if there was actually an after party, so I'm just going through Instagram and seeing what's going on. And really, it seemed like everyone was just filming some guy named DJ Jazzy Jeff. ZTrip. I don't know DJs. It could have been George's grandma up there skipping records. I don't know. It means nothing to me, but that's all I saw. I wanted to see people showing photos of the actual event, not some guy scratching records.
Oh, he was amazing.
I'm sure he is.
He was incredible.
I'm sure it means a lot to a lot of other people, but for me, it doesn't mean anything.
But you know what? Did you see the secret walls that happened before ZTrip went up?
That looked amazing. Kano killed it.
Kano and Two Fly, Juan Muniz and Dos Frank.
Yep.
And Skinner
has looked amazing. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, all of them did a freaking amazing job. Incredible up there.
Now, that was a battle, correct? Was there an actual winner?
Yeah.
Who was the winner? I never heard.
Skinner and God, why am I forgetting the third guy's name? I'm awful. I'll remember it here in a minute, but. It's Skinner's team won basically.
Okay.
That's what it was. Skinner's team won. It was all done by vote, by Screaming Decibel and all that. It was fantastic. It was just a really, really fun time, and I think everybody loved it.
It looked great. I heard a lot of good things about that.
So Gary, are you convinced yet for next year? Are you convinced that you need to come out?
Hell yeah! I need to get my pin trading game going.
Oh,
It's not an issue that I need to come out. Like I said, it's just purely a financial situation for me.
Well, you start saving now. You got a whole year.
And start producing now.
You live 6 hours away.
I got some.
Oh
I got some
gosh.
pin connections now. I'll release 10 pins and a few toys for next year. No, Ben and I, we're going to work together on a pennant for next year. Right, Ben?
Yeah, that works for me. I love pennants.
Actually, you know what? One of the coolest things I saw at DesignerCon was Suck Lord's little photo opportunity booth. That was cool.
That was awesome.
So how about this?
They really went off that.
How about I make a life-size Tree Boy that people can actually sit on the swing and get their picture taken with Tree Boy?
That would be amazing.
Let's do it.
That would be incredible.
Let's do it.
Now, here's the thing. You know how we have a loose theme every year? Last year it was the 80s. This year we stepped it up and we went to the 90s.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy, huh? Well, next year's show, the loose theme is superheroes.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Is this known?
Superhero.
Seriously, you guys have been doing the show for how long? And I have never known there's an underlying theme.
Yeah. There's always some kind of thin theme. Like the 80s show, if you had known, like the postcard art, the Back to the Future art show, the DeLorean parked in front, that was all, in terms of the 80s. And a lot of the art that was there was around 80s based movies and TV shows and all that stuff.
Okay. How were the panels? I heard there were several panels that took place this year.
There were like 4 or 5 panels this year. The panels
Where were the panels?
The panels were across the street at the Rose. You had to have a VIP ticket in order to go to the panels. And the panels were put on by Crew West Studios. Mark Bricky from Adventures in Design. He was the panel moderator for all of them. And they had some awesome guests. I mean, there was a whole panel, for women in the art scene. Like, is it harder for women to get involved in the art scene? There was a panel for just
Latinos. I remember that one.
For just Latinos in the art scene, right? There was a panel where it was just Mark and Huck G talking about shit.
Was that the white man panel? Like what?
that was the
that was the tall white man panel about how they struggle and their place in toys.
So the panels were really good. We actually had a great attendance for all of them. So it was good. It was very good, and we're planning to do more of them next year.
Now there was a panel on 3D printing. Where do you see 3D printing playing a role in designer toys?
3D printing was huge this year for the show. I don't know if you knew, but we even had a special virtual sculpting demo. We had teamed up with Mold 3D, and they had brought in Oculus. And what they did was they set up an entire demonstration area where people could come in, put on the brand new Oculus goggles, and sculpt in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to play with it, George?
No, I didn't even know it was happening.
Ugh, I told you about it.
I forgot.
I am sickened with you right now, George. Jeez.
I didn't leave my booth much, but I can tell you that obviously 3D printing is becoming big enough where I had 4 sculpts by a friend of mine, Michael Norman. He does GoNativeToys.com. I had 4 of his sculpts there, and he sells them as resin kits. And probably every single person that looked at him said, "Where did you get these 3D printed?" And I just had to say, no, these are hand sculpted. Like these were sculpted by people who know how to sculpt things, not just 3D printed, not just sculpted in a computer.
Wow.
Like everyone thinks everything is 3D printed now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the panel that we had was a great panel. Yeah, we had Mold 3D because they were doing the virtual demo and they had a lot to say about 3D sculpting. We had MakerBot, who everybody knows MakerBot, and we then had also 3D Doodler. And the reason why I just wanted to have 3D Doodler on there is because They have the pen that you can create things in 3D, but you're drawing it and creating in 3D. And they've been a vendor for the past 3 years with us. And every year I come up to them and it's like, how's the show doing? You know, how'd you guys do? And every year they do better and better and better. And I mean, like, they've improved upon the pen because this year they had the pro version. But it's amazing because they're selling more and more and more and more of these every year they do the show. So it was great to have them on the panel as well.
I can tell you that 3Doodler, like the dude that runs the booth over there, he always comes up. We talked last year and stuff. He took one of my skeletons, one of the Titan skeletons, and he 3Doodlered a whole outfit, and like a sword and a sheath and a dagger, and the dagger fits on the leg. Like everything comes, like the sword comes out of the sheath, the dagger comes out of the holster. Like it was amazing, and it was like a whole outfit for the action figure, all made out of the 3Doodler pen.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, it's no wonder they do so well every year at the show.
Agreed.
Yes. Did we lose Gary?
No, I'm here. You guys are talking 3D pens. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I zoned out.
You would if you were at the show. If you were at the show, you'd be like, yeah, I know. I saw 3D Doodler too. I know exactly what you're talking
Sounds
about.
incredible. I'm going to have to run out and get one.
Yeah.
When I was on my social media feed, one thing I noticed is a lot of my feed was either at DCon or CTN Expo. Do you ever foresee you guys being not on the same weekend?
Yeah, next year.
Next year, sweet.
So next year we're not on the same weekend. The year after that we will be. We're going back to our normal weekend. Next year, unfortunately, Pasadena had an event going on, so we were moving. You know, honestly, CTN, I have reached out to the person that does CTN Expo, and I have tried to get CTN Expo and the person that runs CTN Expo to work with us on creating an event that would blow every other convention out of the freaking water.
Makes sense.
And I have tried to reason with this person, and unfortunately the person wants nothing to do with us in that regard, and that was it. And unfortunately it's disheartening, but it is what it is. So we will continue to do what we do, and they'll continue to do what they do, and so that's basically it. There is a blog post out there, which Valenci, which is one of our artists that comes to our show. She does the
Valentin Guinness?
Yes.
Yeah, I love. She's one of my favorite people of all time.
She's awesome. She's so awesome. She sent me a link to a blog post out there which actually compared our show to CTN. And they took in a lot of things into comparison, such as parking situation, shuttles, distance to walk, where the actual show was, because this year all the CTN vendors were put in a tent, for instance. We heard from a couple of people that went to CTN that as soon as it started raining on Sunday, that whole tent idea was a bad idea.
Tents aren't cool.
No.
Remember when you were like in middle school and you had that one classroom and a portable? Like that's kind of the equivalent of a tent in Comic-Con equation.
Yeah, you don't want to be put in a tent.
We don't have that in New York. We have snow.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, there is that article out there which compares CTN to DesignerCon, and it really is two different things. And as much as I'd like to work with them, I'm not going to push it down their throat. I'll just wait until maybe they come to a realization that we can do something great together.
It's a shame because it just makes sense. The worlds are just on the fringe of each other. It just, I don't understand why they wouldn't work with you. But, let's not even go there. Let's not compare.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Lightning round.
Questions. Dun, dun, dun.
Are this year's vendors going to be able to have an early opportunity to secure their booth for next year?
Yes. Yeah. Vendors that are doing the show, that have done the show, will be the first ones to be able to re-register for their booths. This will happen after the new year. Please give me some time to relax. Just be patient. And we're going to see what we can do to accommodate more vendors, because we do understand that by moving the show to not the same weekend as CTN, we are actually going to have
Fresno.
We're not moving to Fresno.
And the week before
Stop
Thanksgiving.
that. Oh God, we're not doing the week before Thanksgiving. we're doing it. We're doing it the weekend before Thanksgiving.
There you go.
So it's
a perfect opportunity for our hand turkey toys, George.
Hand turkey pendants.
Oh my goodness. November 11th and 12th, Saturday, Sunday, November 11th and 12th, 2017. And it's going to be amazing. And we're planning some really cool stuff. And it's actually Veterans Day weekend. So we're going to do our part and do something special for the veterans out there. And it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a great show. I know a lot of people are excited, and we hope that people stay excited. We hope that, that when the show rolls around next year, that people are just as hyped as they are right now.
Now, you mentioned veterans. Or you mentioned veterans in the armed forces or veterans of the designer toy scene?
Veterans in the armed forces.
Gotcha.
There are veterans of the armed forces who are also veterans in the toy scene.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Big C.
Big C.
Yeah, Big C. That's right. So there's going to be some fun stuff next year. Absolutely.
Okay.
Tuning the show up. And next year, one of the things that I kind of wish we had done it this year to promote the VIP badges, that we're going to be allowing VIPs to come into the show early. So that's going to be something new. Yeah, a lot of people are saying we should extend the hours of the show. We should let the Saturday go till 7 and Sunday go till 6. Well, we're going to do a reverse thing. We're going to, for VIP people, they're going to be able to go in on Saturday at 8 a.m. and on Sunday at 9 a.m., a whole hour early.
Is that mean that the vendors have to be set up an hour early then?
Yes.
Yeah, wait a minute. I didn't agree to this.
You jerk. No vendor's going to want that.
What vendors would be there at 8 a.m.?
Every vendor's there at 8 a.m. It's going to be great.
I rolled in at 8:30 this year.
Well, you're a jerk. What can I say?
What is DCon's policy about vendors selling before the doors actually open?
We don't care. We don't give a. We really don't.
You really don't feel bad for the guy who woke up early, waited 6 hours in line, runs to a booth, and
we leave it up to the vendor. That's really.
If the vendor wants to be a jerk and not wait for the audience to get in.
Look, it's not up to us. All we can do is we perform line control. We'll make sure that the halls are clear. We make sure that every vendor's product is clear and visible to everybody walking the halls. That's what we do. We do line control. And if a vendor says that, I'm sorry, I'm not selling anything until the doors open, or if a vendor says that you have a vendor badge, I can't sell to you, or if a vendor sets some kind of rule, it's not up to us to tell the vendor how to sell their product. And I believe that every convention should have this policy.
Most of the people do wait. Most of the vendors do wait for the doors to open, and it's mostly because they're still setting up and they don't have their stuff ready yet. But you know what? You have to wait until you're ready to sell.
But you know what? If I was a vendor and I came by myself, Gary, to the show.
But it's so easy to bring a friend, right?
And one of my favorite artists has a booth, and I know that I won't be able to get to his booth, which is 10 rows away from mine. And I would like to go up to the artist and be like, I love your stuff. Can I please buy this before the doors open in 30 minutes or before the doors open in an hour? I would like to know that the that the artist is going to be like, yeah, absolutely. I can sell that to you right now. No problem.
Right.
I don't want to be Designer Con walking around and telling my vendors, hey, I know this is your product and you pay to be here and you're trying to make a buck, but I'm going to tell you right now that you can't sell your product to anybody that has a vendor badge, and you can't sell your product to anybody that comes to you before those doors open. Who am I to tell them that? No. I think every convention center should have that rule. You as a vendor should make your rules on how and when you're going to sell your product. I am just there as the convention person putting it on to allow you to have a good enough venue that I will bring that crowd to you and you can sell it whichever way you want.
Pretty passionate about that. But how about next year? I come out as the pre-sale vendor police, and we set up a little jail in the back of DesignerCon. And anyone I catch going to a booth and trying to buy something early, they get locked out from their own booth for the first important hour of DesignerCon. How about that, Ben?
Yeah, you're right. We should do that. Let's do it.
All right, Gary, get your trip planned because you're coming out. Vendor police.
Woo! Back to DesignerCon.
We're going to make you a badge and everything.
Sweet. Do I get a whistle?
If you want, sure.
Awesome.
If you bring one.
Oh, no. It's got to be a DCon,
It's got to be a DCon whistle.
Official whistle. I've got some people already on my radar.
Man.
You know who you are. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm coming after you.
It's going to be great.
And don't think about bribing me at some after party, during some open bar or something, because now with this new VIP pass and opening even an hour earlier now, I got to wake up early. I got to be sharp. I got to be on my toes.
Amazing. Amazing.
All right. So I think we covered a lot of ground here. I was going to kind of start talking about, other, now that DCon's wrapped up, it's kind of like you guys are pretty much a nice bow to the end of the season conventions. No other conventions really start up until pretty much come April, May.
Until the 30 conventions.
Yeah, the next
spring.
3 conventions that pop up in May. I was going to talk about them a little bit, but we'll save that for another time.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, Ben, thanks for joining us. I think it was a lot of fun getting to know a little about what goes on at Pasadena.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I always love coming on these things and talking about DCon especially.
It's
so
fun.
Thank you.
And happy, people don't know, but we're recording the Thanksgiving Eve. So I wish you guys both an amazing Thanksgiving, and eat up and wear sweatpants tomorrow.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're actually, George, you're going to be joining me where we're going to eat up and wear sweatpants together.
You guys going to like an Asian buffet tomorrow or something?
Almost.
You know what? I forget. I'm thinking 10 years ago where nothing was open on Thanksgiving but Asian restaurants, but everything's open.
Everything's open.
I will probably be waiting outside a Target come 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Why? They're open now, probably 24 hours for the next 3 days.
Oh, really? Did they change it from last year? Last year, I was there at 6 p.m. when they opened doors.
Oh, my
I got some good deals.
What did you get? What kind of amazing deals?
I think I got an amazing 7-piece comforter set. I got an awesome giant-sized skillet. I can make 6 grilled cheeses at one time. Or, this is the biggie, I can open up 1 can of Spam and fit 20 slices of Spam on this bad boy skillet. How about that, Ben? That is worth waiting in line for.
When's the last time you opened up a can of Spam?
Two weeks ago.
Honestly, have you ever opened up a can of Spam?
Honestly, my wife and I, we occasionally like to overdose on sodium and have a nice Spam and rice dinner on occasion.
Spam burger?
I kid you not.
You do a little Spam burger maybe? Or?
No, it's just Spam, you cut it up in little pieces and put it on top of your rice and go to town.
Oh, yeah, do a little Hawaiian style.
Yep, except for no veggies, no pineapple, nothing. It's just Spam, rice, done.
Spam, rice, done. How do you feel about that, George?
I don't know how to feel about that.
I think George just threw up a little.
Let me tell you.
I have mixed feelings.
Let me tell you what I made for lunch today. Growing up, after the Bozo show, do you guys remember the Bozo the Clown show? Was this an East Coast thing? Okay. So it was
No, I got it.
So it was an East Coast thing. My mom would make us something she called the party for lunch. And what it is it's saltine crackers, Miracle Whip. It has to be Miracle Whip, not mayonnaise, not generic Miracle Whip. It's got to be the real thing, Miracle Whip. So it's saltine crackers, Miracle Whip on both sides of the saltine cracker, and then in between the two crackers, a piece of bologna and a piece of cheese. That is called a party, and that's what I made myself today.
Wow.
It's called a party.
That is, that is a party.
It is a party.
That is a
Some
party.
people go to.
That's a party I don't want to be invited
No,
to.
next time you're in Arizona, come on over. We're gonna have a party, George.
Do you have some gluten-free saltines I
It's
can
gonna be
get?
open bar.
I don't think you can have that Miracle Whip, George.
Is that not gluten?
Yeah, that's
Is
probably
Miracle
that's
Whip
gotta
not
be
gluten
safe.
free? How about
No,
saltines?
that's safe.
Are you okay on the
No,
saltines?
saltines are not gluten-free.
Oh,
No.
see, yeah. See, we're gonna have to go like protein style for you. Wrap it up in lettuce instead of saltine.
There goes the party.
There it goes.
There goes the party.
I will say, full disclosure, my wife wants nothing to do with the party. She'll partake in the spam, but the party, no go. So I party by myself.
All right, let's
All right,
end this
boys.
thing.
Ben, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
They can find me at 3D Retro and at DesignerCon on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Same handle on all three of those things. There you
All
go.
right.
That's where I'm at.
Thanks for joining us again. It was fun.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
George, how about you?
Just at George Gaspar on Facebook is the best, and you can reach me through there.
Cool. And I'm Gary Ham on Instagram, superham.com. This has been the Marsham Toy Hour. Until our next transmission, we're signing off. Bye-bye.